What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day today. We got some very special guests today. We have the Refresh Point boys. We got Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
And we got Ben. How's it going?
Hello. I'm here with my constant co-host, Steve, but we're somewhere else today.
a different location in than what y'all are used to. But no,
well, not really. We're sitting in the same place.
no, I mean,
we are recording somewhere else.
No, I mean like on a different channel. I should say, because y'all have your own podcast as well. I guess we're getting right into this, obviously. Y'all have the Refresh Point podcast, and I've been listening to it a good couple months going on now. And I was like, damn, it would be really cool if I got them up here. And I was just like, I'll just casually message one day. I'm listening to another episode one day, and in the middle of listening to the episode, Ben messages me. It's just like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm just getting now to your message. Like, wait a minute, what? So.
Yeah. So I only ever look at the channel whenever I upload stuff, which is a pretty bad habit. I should keep track of comments. But I was uploading another episode, and then I saw the comment. I was like, oh, well, I certainly don't mind.
Yeah,
as well.
It's like, oh, that was a couple weeks ago.
There's so much room in the space for good content that we're very anxious to take any opportunity to work with anybody, honestly.
No, I understand. I was like, I'm sorry that Base Damage is the first one that had to reach out to you. No, I'm certain it'll be I'm certain it'll be better with other content creators. No, I'm just messing. Honest to goodness, when I discovered y'all and started listening to the first couple of episodes, I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool. Like, I'm not trying to suck dick or anything here, but just I was like, this is really cool. I'm enjoying this. They only have 30-40 people subscribed. They need more subscribers. They need to pick up. I want y'all to definitely pop off and get many more listeners in the future.
When you just start off and your marketing is not super viral, then I think the amount of subscribers that we have makes sense.
So
Agreed.
It's one of those things that the main reason, or one of the reasons I like working with Ben, and because it's not just because he's got a great personality,
which y'all both do.
He also covers up a lot of the skills that I don't cover up. And so, when we first got the idea for the podcast, I was like, I don't really know how to do anything. I know how to talk about Weiss, but I don't know anything about editing, audio, none of this stuff. And so I was like, I'm going to need somebody that does.
Yeah. I definitely didn't have those skills getting into this, and I'm still learning, but I'm like, I had to learn all of that pretty quick. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
No, so in college, I worked in student media pretty extensively for the entire time that I was there. And so I was pretty used to audio, video editing, kind of how you want to set up things, how you want to I guess how you want to pay stuff, how you want to kind of direct conversations, stuff like that. And for this podcast, it was kind of I knew I wanted to make something after I was out of uni. I knew I wanted my job to continue to just be CS and make the boatload of money that is, but I wanted to make a fun media thing. And so instead of going to work at a newspaper or a radio station, Steve's like, hey, you want to make a Weiss podcast? And I'm like, hey, I like this idea.
That's a much more I feel righteous way of looking at it.
It's so much more righteous to go cover Weiss instead of all the injustice in the world, all the corruption in local governments. And
it's like, look, now let's talk about shiny cardboard and waifus.
Yeah, that's really where all the attention needs to go to.
Listen, they say if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, unfortunately, we're never gonna get rich talking about Weiss, so we can at least have fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is all these things that we could cover. The disasters. Hey, we're covering one disaster today. Look, there's an Ayame is rearing its ugly head in JP. Yeah, let's no.
Yeah. That's the real disaster. That's the real coverage we're doing.
There you go.
2 weeks late every single time.
God, which that ain't
But
too bad.
By that much.
yeah. Yeah, that was a great thumbnail to make. It was like, hey, we recorded this while Ayame was still legal, and then it got banned. So I guess you could just disregard that conversation.
It's like earlier in the year, one of my buddies, I wanted to get him back in on a podcast episode because it had been forever. I was like, okay, what set would he like to talk about? There's nothing like upcoming that I think he would care to talk about. You know what? It's just in JP, but let's talk about Azure Lane, because he was very big into the mobile game and everything. And he was really, really enjoying it. So I'm like, okay, we'll just talk about this. We record it with him and Gothmom, and we ended up having this recorded like 3-4 weeks later. Azure Lane gets announced for English, and I'm like, I have to edit this in and say, hey, we didn't know all this, like, hey, if we ever get it, so like just ignore all of that.
Yeah.
Like having to go back and do so, like I'm in the middle of like editing it, and I'm like, oh fuck, I have to redo this entire thing.
Hey, that's more editing than I would do. I'd just be like, hey, I would just put in a little text box like, hey man, listen, it's doomed.
Like, okay,
it was recorded in a different time.
Like, all right, let's just bust out the microphone and be like, yeah, so what you're about to hear. Yeah.
Bro.
That's what we'll do if we ever make any catastrophic errors.
Like if we make a catastrophic error, then yeah, sure. But for the most part, like if we make like card text errors or discuss things that just aren't real, then I just edit it out. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we should have thought about it early. It happened a lot in the first few episodes.
It's been happening a lot less now, actually. I don't think there's even anything in the latest episode.
The first few episodes, I definitely bullshitted some stuff where I tried to confidently say the absolute wrong mechanics. And I would have to go back and listen to it. And I'm like, wait, and I just messaged Ben. I'd be like, just delete that. Just make that just where it didn't happen.
But you just have to say it confidently enough, and it'll just glaze over people's heads, and you just don't have to worry about it.
It's one of those things where it's like half the time no one's gonna look up these cards anyway, but every time I hear it, I'm gonna be like, no, motherfucker, that's wrong.
That's wrong. Yeah, no, we don't say things confidently. We confidently edit it so that it smoothly transitions
there you go.
From whatever happened before that and whatever happened after that.
Especially if you have to listen to your own voice for like hours on end. It's just like, okay, wait, this is gonna bother me.
We definitely, I have definitely spent more time this year listening to myself talk than I have in my whole life combined.
So, there you go. Yeah.
That's this channel in a nutshell for me. I understand.
So how did base damage get started?
So that was something I was thinking about earlier. So
back on you.
It's
your origin story now.
It's all good, going way back in the day when I was a young lad. No. So like you were saying, you went to like school and everything, and you're like, oh, it would be neat to like report stuff and talk about the disasters and of going on in the world. And I'm like, I'm watching like Rooster Teeth. I'm just like watching the Rooster Teeth podcast and Achievement Hunters podcast, and like, damn, I want to do this. Like, this sounds cool. What do I do? What will we even talk about? I guess we could just get a whole bunch of people in a room and start talking. But what will we talk about? And it took like a week of thinking about that before I was like, I should just do card games. And then it just got like soloed down to just talking about Weiss. And I was like, hey, do y'all just mind talking about Weiss Schwarz for like an hour or two? They're like, I guess we can. And proceeded to just add in our like a couple of the guys that are in our locals. That were in our locals, because our locals doesn't really meet up that much anymore now because of COVID and shenanigans. But it's just like, hey, would y'all like to be in on this? Like, I'm not kidding when I say episode 2 or 3. I want to say it was 2. There was in this cooler, we had about 8 people sitting in there, but only about 2 or 3 of us were talking. I'm just like, come on, y'all say shit. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like there is an amount of people that is too many people to be on some form of audio content, and I think that number is 5.
Yeah, that's basically what we reached to like episode like probably 4 or 5. I was like, okay, I need to limit who all is in here. So I told everybody else, I'm like, okay, 4 people, that is the maximum we're gonna do is 4 people in terms of like back then because they had in the cooler and everything. And it really upset one of my buddies one day. He was trying to get in on an episode, but the seats had already been filled, and I'm like, sorry, bro, I can't do more than 4. And he's just like, he looks like a puppy you just told like no and sprayed it in the face with a bottle of water. And he's just like, but I'm just like, next time, bro, next time. He's like, okay, and he just like walks away slow.
Next time, brother, we've got you. That's all good.
If there's anything that's true about podcasts, is that there'll always be more episodes, right?
Exactly. That's the hope. That is definitely the hope. So the next week he was like, before we even got, like, I was like, okay, I guess we'll go to the back and start recording. Where's Matt? I guess he'll show up in a second.
Ran back there an hour before.
He literally, he said, I've been sitting back here 30 minutes. He was already in a chair.
Boom.
So I'm like, oh.
Go, dude.
So I'm like, man. So, but no, other than that, that was basically the origins for us. And like I said, you're just like, hey, let's just talk about Weiss.
Okay, so okay, it's it sounds a little mean. But one big motivator for starting this podcast for me personally was that I did not like most Weiss content that I consumed, and I just wanted one that I liked.
I can firmly agree with that. Which is honestly,
which is like okay, like I'm not trying to call out anybody in particular.
I will in a heartbeat. Go for it.
You can. I don't really feel like it, but just like most of the content that I was trying to listen to or follow was just like strictly not super entertaining for me personally.
My brain auto-completed.
It's not to say that it's bad, but it wasn't. There's a lot of really long form Weiss content, and there's a lot of like specifically like set reviews and deck techs and that kind of stuff. But I wanted kind of something in that mid-range, hour-ish, fairly engaging kind of thing that I just felt like I hadn't seen that much of.
Yeah, I think that if you're trying to find like games of Weiss,
there's
like,
a million
recorded games of Weiss,
you'll have
no trouble.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But at least not now.
Yeah.
That space has become much better in the last, I would say, especially the last 2 years.
Tresses does pretty good gameplay.
And PGH.
Yeah, PGH is the first one I thought of.
Yeah, they've kind of all come on. Like, they're starting to produce like very consistent, repeatable.
Yeah, like recording locals
content.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can easily find games of Weiss to look at, but there isn't really a ton of there wasn't really a ton of people in the space that was just like, if I haven't been paying attention to Weiss in the last, this month or 2 weeks or whatever, like, can you catch me up? What's happening? Like, help me figure out like anything. Is there any Weiss news? And so, we've kind of turned into that a little bit where like our content has kind of become like Weiss news.
Which is not a bad thing in any capacity.
But like, in a longer form.
That's the way we like it.
Exactly.
And like in a longer form way than casually Weiss Schwarz does it, and a more English focus. Because casually Weiss Schwarz does like
he'll do both.
Like 12 minutes of kind of like literally the thing that just happened, like English, JP, all that kind of stuff. But we have kind of turned into, hey, this is what's coming out. This is what's coming out in a few months. This is what we talked about last time. This is going to be the next set, and this is going to,
Yeah, he kind of cliff notes it, and y'all are like, let's expand on it type thing.
Yeah.
It's like 20 minutes of like, here's some stuff that happened, and then 20 minutes of like, here's our thoughts on it. That's kind of how it's become. And honestly, I think that's great. Any place where I can voice my Weiss opinions and no one can argue, fantastic.
Just wait till certain people find the comment section. Believe me,
I am ready. I actually
we haven't found anything.
You know what?
Yet,
I will take. I'm accepting all comments right now. Yeah, I'm accepting all comments.
Like,
we accept all comers, all comments. You can come comment on our latest videos. Just come on down. We'll
take your hate views.
We'll fight it out.
My brain thought you said all comers, and I was like, wait, what? Hey yo. So
we'll take all your hate simultaneously. So yeah.
Yeah,
whatever gives
I feel
us the
like,
views.
Yeah,
No, there you go.
there surely can't be enough hate viewers in Weiss to like have a significant dent on our mental health. So, all like 5 of you that enjoy hate watching for whatever reason and want to, come disagree with our opinions, you can come on down.
That's like all 400 of my subscribers anyway. No, I'm kidding.
Nice.
No, like early on, we had a couple people. One in particular that just would sit there and write a college thesis in the comment section.
Is that why your description is that?
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, just come to the Discord and talk.
Yes.
Oh yes, Steve. I don't know if you know.
I
but...
haven't seen it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No, you're fine. You're like, okay. So that happened a long while back. I messaged the person, like I said, he would write these very, very long things dissecting anything and everything we said to points that I'm like, I don't even remember saying this. Hold on, what? And would go back and like listen to us. Okay, I did say something about that, but at the time that the podcast also started, we were still learning. We were still learning a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't mind being told, hey, this is actually how this works. That's cool. But when you are like correcting every sentence that I say, I don't really care for that. But then it escalated further where I messaged the person and said, hey, dude, I thank you for trying to teach us. I really do. But just email me. Just email me and be like, hey, this is, you got a couple things wrong, and I'll just correct it in like the next episode or something. And the guy's like, hey, sure. I'll gladly do that. He was very agreeable and was like, yeah, I will do that, and agreed to it.
There you go.
And then like 3 episodes later starts doing the same shit again.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah,
I was about to say, just
like,
starts
emailing you. Redemption story, but then he remembered it was you too.
No, for real. It's like, oh yeah, wait. Like he did that for maybe 1 or 2 episodes. It was like, oh hey, just to say this, corrected me.
The whole world to know.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I can't wait for you to do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna say no and just like make it so I have to approve the comments and stuff like that. He never commented back again. And I'm not kidding when I say about 50 episodes in, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to have to approve every comment again. Let me just turn that off. That exact week that I posted that and I had turned off the comments, he posted something again. Same length.
He's back.
I'm like, you're just banned, dude. Just get the fuck out.
I've never had a secret admirer before.
I honestly think he was like, yeah, bro. Yeah.
That guy, he will be there no matter what. Mm-hmm. He's there to hate.
Yeah.
He's coming in hot.
I'm like, bro, just chill. Fucking just block you. Get the fuck out.
No,
you know.
He's got time.
He
don't care.
Hey, you know this guy's clicked on that comment box every single week. Just waiting.
Just waiting.
That's
He's
honestly
waiting to know.
Like 100%.
He's gotta let me talk again.
It's like,
one of these days, he'll give up.
Inspect the page source. Are comments blocked? Or like, okay, it's not up here. I can finally post something. I don't know. I think you can do that.
I admire that kind of dedication.
That's gonna be the funniest.
Ain't that? So if y'all get him or anyone else doing that, by all means, I want to see like the fire in the comment section. Fallout. Okay. That's a good word.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If we get enough comments like that, we can start running a comment response segment to really pad out our content. So that would be really sick. If you want to come write essays about how wrong we are, I'll happily disagree with you. You could be like, yeah, I think you should stop clocking after level 0. We can fight you out on that. That's cool.
Exactly. But see, like I said, y'all say it so confidently, like you're like maybe they'll just accept it and go on. It's like maybe y'all have that and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, like if you wanna come write like 1,200 word essays, completely unedited, just the most horrendous thing you've ever seen, and I was talking about it. I mean, we'll farm the content for days. That's all good.
It's where you go to criticize their stuff.
We'll block you. So easy enough.
It's like you forgot a comma here. You forgot to capitalize I here.
Is that the kind of stuff he was? Is like it was grammar and like.
Oh no! Like I'm joking. Like if I were to counter criticize, it'd just be like, okay,
sure, yeah.
No. I mean, if we want to counter criticize, I was the editor of a newspaper for 2 years. We can fight.
Exactly.
Like, I'll take the whole AP style book on your ass. Like we can go at it.
No, like a lot of the stuff back then was. I'm trying to remember some of the comment stuff. I said a lot of it was just like, oh hey, it seems like maybe there's this particular controversy going on, or I'm not exactly certain how this one effect works, out of this, out of that. Maybe it's this, maybe it's not. And then, like, especially...
Oh, like you would say that?
I would say,
then...
I would sometimes just point stuff out. Like, there was another instance where I don't understand why I got the hate for this. Do y'all remember when, actually, so... I forget which one of y'all said y'all played longer.
That's Steve.
Steve, okay. You remember when Two Love Rue Darkness came out in English?
Yep.
So the two builds that were, or I say the two builds, the two like level 1 engines that were going off, people were arguing between whether using the Ren Run engine,
yeah,
to like combat AOT or some shit. I didn't.
There was a there was a lot of discussion about that at the time.
Yeah, I remember making just a short video. It wasn't even a podcast episode, just a short video talking about, oh hey, this person won with it, but apparently there's some controversy on whether you should run this particular engine or not. That's all I said. I didn't say I was on like one side of the fence or the other. And the next morning I woke up to like 20 or 30 comments of just like, no, you're wrong, this is it, no, you're wrong, this is what should be run. I'm just like, y'all fucking chill. I didn't, like, what the hell?
No, look, they were passionate, okay? They wanted to clarify
exactly.
Definitely you should or should not run this Two Love Rue engine.
So
sure.
yeah, it's funny because it was really rare in the game for there to even be 2 advantage engines that you wanted to run.
Yeah.
And so I do recall the first couple of builds I saw that were deviating from the standard like original build with bar, and it was just like, oh, is this a thing?
Yeah.
And I saw it played a couple times. I was like, oh, I guess it is. All right,
There you go.
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was because of AOT. AOT 1 had come out, and their primary way to get pluses was on reverse with this like 6.5, and AOT just had all these thick bodies. It was like 7.5, 8K, and it was like, okay, well, how are we gonna win?
Yes, sir.
So,
like, but this was also prior to Volume 2 Aaron rearing its ugly head as well. But
yeah, for sure.
But I remember getting y'all know Riaz. I know y'all are from Texas. Y'all know Riaz Muhammad.
Steve is much more familiar with Riaz than I am.
Okay, yeah. We've had him on the podcast several times, and one of the first times we had him up there, we were actually discussing like Two Love Rue versus AOT. So like, that was like one of the very first episodes I had him on.
That's cool.
So that was like a whole thing we ended up doing in terms of like, oh, you know, like you said, talking about like, oh, they got all their pluses from like the reversing and then just out resourcing. And it's like, oh, I just take 1 clock damage to keep this level 1 on the field and keep going to town. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of those things that is something that I don't know. Part of when we started the podcast, we discussed about like guests, just talking about guests.
Before.
And I was like, man, I'd much rather be a guest than guest than guest host for someone.
No, yeah. So for right now, we're trying not to have guests on the show for probably the first year, honestly, or so.
That's
or
fair.
Like the first 6, 7, 8 months, just to kind of get the groove together and.
Yeah, because we were like, man, like we know some people that would be great guests. But it's like, I'd like to have our
own identity.
Yeah,
kind of
well, I'd like to have
together.
it like refined. And man, a few more subscribers wouldn't hurt. So.
Well, I mean, so my mindset about that is that you can't ever really. I think it's just self-destructive to ever super push for viewers, subscribers, or whatnot. Just kind of like, obviously, if you're in a different environment where you have to, then that's just kind of the life, right? But we both work different full-time jobs, you know, and we can approach this from the mindset of, well, I want to talk about Weiss,
Exactly,
and he wants to talk about Weiss, and I just want to put together a really nice, fairly well-made product that is good. And as long as that's good, I don't care. Well, maybe Steve cares, but I don't care personally if there's just 5 listeners or like 500. Right?
Yeah, I'll say this: I don't I'm not obviously like this is a pure passion project.
Yeah.
Like if it falls straight into the dumpster, then it is what it is. We had fun making it and we learned a lot. But yeah, somebody had strictly we went to Houston for Springfest, and there was a pre-event the day before, and that was the first time anybody had ever walked up to me and been like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast. It's really good."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Huh." So there are a few people listening. That's cool.
There you go.
It's like you're sitting there for a second going, is this what ego feels like? Do I have clout? Hold up, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Is there enough in Weiss to have clout with?
Yeah.
At least 40 subscribers worth, right? Or 44? I don't know.
That's right. Whoever they are, we love all of you.
Yeah.
Same. I got that like the first regionals we ever went to in Atlanta, and it was specifically because we got playmats made. I'll try to take a picture of it and send it to y'all so you can see what we're talking about. And we basically just like base damage podcast and a couple different characters to represent each of the members and everything. And someone's like, oh wait, shit, y'all are base damage, like the team we're about to play against. And I was just like, oh. Yeah, and I'm like half worried going, shit, are these guys who actually enjoy the videos or are these haters? Like, oh no, just like for
are
a half
these
second.
likers or haters?
It's like, do y'all hit the like button or the dislike button? No. So, but I was just like, oh yeah, that's us, and they're like, oh shit, that's cool. Like, just we had to end up having like a really pleasant conversation, but for like a half second, I'm like, shit, they found me, So.
You're being perceived. It's happening. Yeah.
Being perceived is a good way of putting it. I never thought of it that way. So
you are being perceived by other people for things that you have made. Congrats.
When you talked when you said a second ago, I remembered something I wanted to do at the very beginning of the episode and I didn't do it.
Okay.
Where you talk about, like you said, like a well put together in terms of like the quality and everything. Like leading up to this, I was like, I should get some better background music. They have an intro. They have like an intro that a little catchphrase they like to say. I should come up with one, which where y'all say, so shuffle your decks, tap or cut, and let's get right into the refresh point. I was talking to Joe on the phone as this thought hit me. I was like, yo, I should say, drop that climax, jump to the attack step, and let's see if base damage gets canceled. What?
Base damage gets canceled.
Nice. That's good.
That's good.
He laughed for like 5 minutes. I was like,
hey man, do as you please. So. I mean, it's all vibes, man.
No, 100%. I just thought of that comparison. I was like, that's funny. I'm doing that for like one episode and that's it. I'm never doing it again.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's just kind of how you want to make your stuff is going to be the biggest influencer, because there's all sorts of like quote unquote optimizations you can make to kind of like I guess optimize your content for SEO if you're writing a blog or whatnot, or if you want to optimize it for kind of listening and specific attention span. But at the end of the day, especially if it's a passion project, you just kind of do the vibe.
Yeah,
like
I definitely take no credit for Shuffle Your Decks Tap or Cut. That was all Ben. But
it works.
When I read it when I read it in one of the scripts, I was like, yo, this line is straight fire. Like, we love this line.
And for me personally, because I had done both a talk and a music show at my uni radio station.
Oh, really?
I was more used to and liked having a bit more structure, which is why we have kind of our different segments and specific music tracks for those segments. I listen to I specifically pull from Louis Zong because he's the homie. And in 2019, he said, hey, if you credit me, use the music. It's a passion project for me anyway. I do other stuff. You can just use it. And I was like, I will take this and run with this forever. And so shout outs to Louis Zong. You should listen to his music. But I listened to like a few, I took from a few of his albums kind of like tracks that I think most appropriate for the segments that we're specifically running. I think the Surf Pokemon album has produced some great bangers for use. Surf Pokemon Battle is a great theme to use for whale sighting and for waifu wars.
Absolutely,
for sure. It's a favorite.
Just as it starts playing, just a whale lord pops up in the distance. Just
yeah. Also having the having the whale sound or like the whale horn sound for whale signing segments.
It's like a foghorn.
Yeah, we'd sampled a few. We were like, what is this? Is this good?
yeah. So
And then you also got to have the dolphin, because you got whales. Then in the gacha community, there's dolphins. There's people who don't whale for the waifus.
okay.
Yeah, the medium whales.
The medium whales.
They're not full whales.
Got it.
They're like me with everything.
Got it.
It's like you get the foils because they're like $5.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah.
That's what I am in Pokemon. Is like, well, I mean,
medium whale.
Yeah. It's like, well, this foil's like $10. I mean, if I shoot up my deck price from $30 to $60, is that really that bad?
That's how it starts usually.
Yeah, true.
Especially if you start convincing yourself,
now I have a
this is just
Dialga card in my deck.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
It starts off with convincing yourself, this is just for personal collection. That's all it is. Well, I guess this one can also be, I could get this to gift to a friend, maybe some eventually, 13 years from now.
Dude, I'm in Pokemon now. I go to Pokemon once a week and I take full advantage of it. I'm like, I'm gonna beat your face in with Dialga. And if there's not enough people there, the kids get mixed in with the whole play group. It's like, all right, 12-year-old, you're about to meet the god of time.
Yeah, it's like when the game was kind of newer, you could speculate a little more on like, a couple $100, we'll get the foils, we'll get some signs, everything will be fine. Now it's like, if you see a max rarity deck that's meta, that's rolling around, like whoever that person is, they got
more
some
money.
means.
Yeah,
they got some means.
They got some more money than I have.
That very much so. I'm like, bro, I wouldn't be like, I understand you got to represent the waifu. That's cool. But I would not be wanting to show up to bring it to locals, sure, but like show up to like regionals with that. I'm like, bro, that's just asking to get that stuff stolen. I don't know.
That's why you gotta roll deep. You gotta bring your homies with you.
You gotta have the spotters. Hey, this is actually, you have a bigger channel than we do, so you have more of an audience that might be able to help me with this. If you buy Review Starlight Relive, and if you're like the 2 people in the audience that may buy sealed product of that, I am looking for the Mahiru sign and the triple rare. And the triple rare standby climax for the Musketeer Mahiru Suyuzaki combo.
See, now I have a reason to actually. Yeah. Now I have a reason to actually buy the boxes and everything. It's like, okay, now I have to pull this so I can wave it over his head.
If you're listening to this, my best offer is probably going to be $200. You can reach out to me on Facebook. We can actually.
Here I was thinking that we were gonna have an honest podcast. Meanwhile, my co-host is farming buyers for his
sellers. No. I need to buy.
Yeah.
I need to buy.
For his
He's the buyer in this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure I understood the game.
Yeah. Exactly.
My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they've got the audience. You definitely gotta make use of it. That's definitely why we're here. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the equivalent of, I don't know if y'all keep up with like IRL streamers or anything. Sea Dog VA, when he got his award for like a charity event, and he goes up on stage to accept the award. He's like, by the way, I'm doing another one. Y'all should come watch. That's the equivalent of that, right? It's like on stage where like tens of thousands of people are watching. It's like,
thanks for this award and whatever, but also,
by the way, we're doing this again in like 3 weeks. Just no, it was just so. That's the equivalent of what he just did, basically. So
there it is.
Well, I'm not changing co-hosts, so it is what it is.
That's fair. That is very fair. I at this point I can swap to whoever. Speaking of co-hosts, I keep seeing Joe's Discord light up every now and then, like he's looking to see if the call's over just yet. So I just keep seeing it go dark and then check back and dark and then check back. So I see you, Joe. I know what you're doing. It went up again. There we go. So I guess we should skip ahead a little bit from asking for SPs to, I guess we could talk a little bit about the news that's been going on.
Yeah.
So
love to talk about the news.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about Weiss.
The most prevalent thing was that JP just got a ban list. So
sure.
I will show that up on screen as best as I can right now. I'm probably gonna have to chop it up depending on which section we're talking about. But the biggest thing, like we were talking about earlier, for anyone who is unaware, Hololive Volume 2 had a special level 1 Ayame that pulled off a combo at level 1 to let you get off like a whole bunch of attacks. Like just anywhere from like
6 attacks starting from 0-6.
It's just with
we have the setup.
So good. And like
we can make it happen.
I heard about this the week that it happened. There's a Weiss Schwarz simulator that I use for a couple different things, and
is it Sir Fireman Bob's?
Yes, it is his. He is awesome.
He's a local here, yeah.
Really? Oh my. Okay,
yeah.
I've like talked to him on Discord. I didn't know that y'all knew him personally or anything. That's awesome. No,
he shows up to LGS.
That's that's our boy.
Yeah, so, shout outs to Fireman Bob. Like that simulator is just so freaking good. But I built that, like I found a deck someone posted talking for the Ayame combo, and with the first test game I pulled off the 6 attacks the very first fucking game. I'm like, shit, did I get lucky, or is it just this consistent?
It's not complicated.
It's not.
It's the Oof Me special for sure.
Exactly.
Shout outs to the guy that got his own Oshi ban. She heard about it too. On stream she reacted.
No.
She was like, "Oh, I heard my Weiss card got banned. I guess I'm too powerful."
Oh, I did not know about this. I have to look this up later.
Very recent. I saw the clip like 2 or 3 days ago. Somebody was in chat and she was just like, "Oh yeah, I heard my Weiss card got banned." Well, I guess it's just too good.
This is so much. I love that. I did not know that was a thing. I love this.
And so Oofme went out after that clip surfaced. He tweeted out an apology, adding IMA.
He just super chats are going, "I am so sorry."
To her.
So, there's definitely been times where people in the community who are very good at deck building or very good at the game have discovered something, kept it to themselves, won an event with it, and then showed it off. So I remember that TRV was the first time I'd seen it in a while, where the first person to come up with a dual lane deck kept it kind of on the down low.
You know what they did? Yeah.
And they were until they just started smashing some people with it. And then they were like, "Yeah, we got this dual lane deck that's pretty good." And they showed it off because it was at a regional.
Okay.
And so to the 3 people I hold the most responsible for this IMA monstrosity are Oofme for discovering it, Randall for talking about it, and then Juno for topping with it. And so to those 3 men, I say thank you.
You forced an emergency ban.
Had it not been for your content, the first week of regionals, we would have not been able to shut up about this stupid thing, because that's all anybody would have been talking about.
Well, it still might be if
it's gonna
Singapore, isn't.
Surely they won't.
You don't.
Surely
know.
They won't.
And that's kind of the thing right now is how soon is it gonna get hit for English as well? But that's one of the biggest things I see people talking about now too.
I'm just gonna say, I know in JP, they immediately after they stumbled upon it, they threw it into every single Hololive list, like climax setup that they could think of, like everything. They were like, okay, Bard Goro Kaiju Marine, but with IMA. Shion Aqua 8 pants, but with IMA. 2 Soul and then Marine, but with IMA. And so, I mean, we're gonna say, if it doesn't get banned, right, and we can play it at a regional, we do have our playsets of Lunar New Year's. I'm
not saying that I'm not. Oh my God. It would be hypocritical of me to advocate for the banning of a card on a podcast and while simultaneously buying cheap copies of Lunar New Year. So we're not gonna say that I did that. But hypothetically, if I had done that, That would be perhaps in poor taste, but appropriate planning.
I got very lucky. Gothmom has been advocating everyone to pick up the Shioko +2s before that was ever a thing.
That's true.
Because she just loves to shove that into every deck that she plays. She's like, I'm going to get as many playsets of this and put it in every single deck. And I'm like, they're like $2 a piece. Sure, I swipe them things up for $2 a piece. Like, I'll just get a playset, and I look like 5 nights ago. I'm like, oh, they're $30 a piece for heavy played. Fuck.
Yeah.
You hate to see it, but you love to see it, but you hate to see it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, if it's legal for a regional,
it'll be played.
Oh, 100%. We're gonna have.
Sure we'll see. Say, what over under? What is it? Over under Cade and Steve 4 in the top 8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Over or under?
I mean, 4 is probably right. Like,
just
you're gonna
on 4?
Maybe more. Honestly, like, you can lose so fast. It's kind of mind-boggling. But I will say, if you block down this thing, it just loses. Like, if you have to be honest and like play a real game where like you're.
But I feel like it hasn't been like fully explored yet, right?
Yeah.
Because it got banned.
It got banned in 2 weeks.
Like,
before people really had a chance.
Before there was even a chance. So like in like a 2-soul X list, I feel like that could be true. But in these lists that we're running, advantage combos of like Okayu Marine or even like the weird Xion Aqua thing, where you have 6 attacks, and even if that doesn't work, we still have the most efficient finisher in the game.
Well, it's one of those things where
oh god, combining it with Gura. Oh god, I just thought about that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they had a combination of the red. The biggest thing for them was that they had the red 2 souls.
Yeah.
So that deck felt like it was much more reasonable, where you could just be like,
you need blue
for it. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I'm like, oh, you are going to be running blue for this. It's like it's match made in heaven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It works. Either context, but just for like color unification in terms of like
Well, I mean, that's what we're saying. It has a blue like requirement.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay, yeah.
But like they all ran red for whatever reason. They don't have Lunar New Year.
That's fair. Yeah,
they can't run the blue.
I think they literally can't run.
Literally can't run the blue. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure if optimizing it for like regular play is as good of a strategy. But I will say that it makes it a little more resilient, a little less blowout.
Yeah, I feel like the perfect way to build it, if it was legal, ideally it's not. But the perfect way, if it was legal, would be to take all of the pieces that make 6 attacks at 1-0 the most consistent you can get it, seeing what else that helps, and then kind of picking your climaxes and stuff around that.
I think I mean, you just put it in Guro, right?
Good.
Like that was the next thought that I had just now.
Well, it just gets rid of so many. It gets rid of so many soul triggers, though.
Only 4.
Opinion. Well, you want to be
and some people won't even reduce that.
Well, but
you
what
have
I mean
run,
is that
like
they only have 1-0 with a soul trigger and 2 1s with a soul trigger.
Yeah.
So you're losing one of those ones, but
sure,
that's it.
It's still a lot up there.
I mean,
though.
you
That's
have to
the
run
thing.
the other tech for IMA. You need the Ricky specific.
Sure.
You probably want the Roboco.
Sure.
That jumps back.
That all fits.
Then the thing that sacks. Yeah, we just think that's gonna.
You just don't run the Kanata Ricky, and you just run this other Ricky.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like 3 cards.
Yeah.
It kind of just fits in anything.
It's extremely easy to do.
Fair.
And you're running blue already.
Yeah, you are running blue already.
At that point, it's just like running the other cards that just pick up.
You think Standby Gura?
Oh, Standby Gura is definitely going to show up like in English.
I mean, it is.
Like 100%.
Standby is her best deck,
Yeah. But that's 100%.
Yeah,
because like you can't triple it without Standby. Like it's not possible.
Yeah.
It costs way too much.
It does.
So like every time they get 1 Standby at 2, it's like.
So we also because we also get Ame. So
yep.
Yeah.
That I'll say this: IMA you can probably rely upon not being available, but the rest of that ban list is just gonna ride.
Oh, 100%.
Like they're gonna let all that ride.
Yeah. IMA, Standby, Gura. Yeah, that's a deck. That's probably a deck.
Which
It was not allowed to be playtested in JP.
they're just
we
like
don't know.
no. Which
we literally don't know.
No.
Because
like 2/3 of the thing is banned.
Yeah. But we may get the opportunity.
Don't Bushi, I'm asking nice. don't do it.
It's like, please.
Yeah.
The only reason that you see, and normally I would be very confident, but Bushiroad Singapore has reached that like upper part of the fuck around and find out curve more than I'm comfortable with.
The person in charge likes watching the world burn, it seems. Just like, let's see what's gonna happen.
Sometimes they do really good. But every once in a while, especially
Was Batman legal for regional?
No, they banned.
No,
that was like banned before it could ever be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you got to think, Batman.
Our hope here,
like prior to Batman, there was no restricted list in English Weiss at all.
That was literally
exactly.
That was the nail in the coffin that said, fine, fuck it, we have to make a ban list type thing. And they're like, literally the first two sets that got hit up there were just them fixing their own fuck up. And like not actually banning any cards per se. Something like that was like, oh, we're not like this. It wasn't like it was emergency ban list, but it was less the fact of like how Yu-Gi-Oh or something goes, oh, emergency ban in the fact of this FTK is too powerful. It's emergency ban and shit. We have to make a ban list right the fuck now.
It was one of those things where it's like we were unsure what would happen.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing the Grodd and being like, what are they gonna do? Like, there's no ban list. Is this
the
it?
start?
Yeah.
And then I was like, are they gonna errata this thing? Like, in an ideal world, you would have the ability to adjust cards slightly. Because I feel bad about this Ayame card. Because on its face, it's not an unreasonable... Like, if we talk about designer intent, the way this card was intended to be used, it's not an unreasonable card.
No, there's other cards in the game that do it.
We just ditch 2 cards and get 3 guys, right? That's what we're trying to do here.
Like literally, there's a Meliodas that does that in 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
exactly.
like,
and it does it even better. And it does it even better.
It does. We just don't have the cursed combination.
Exactly.
Spawner on Death Ricky and way to sack that in the attack.
You know for a fact every 7 Deadly Sins player immediately said, shit, check over every card again, see if we missed something. So
double check.
But it's one of those things that I feel bad about because like ultimately a small adjustment to that card or the way it behaves could have salvaged it. I think English players should be also concerned about IMA's close relative Sokka and how Sokka behaves.
We're gonna get ready for Sokka scams, boys.
Because that card behaves in a very similar way where I know that it is not meant to be used this way. But on God, in like the first 12 standby game I played, I had a 4 attack turn at level 1, and I was like, I don't know, y'all. This isn't right. Doesn't seem right.
It's like I'm having flashbacks. Yo, somebody call Ufme right now. Hold up.
Flashbacks to the war.
Yeah.
You can hear the choppers overhead.
It was just one of those things where it was like, well, if this gets banned because the other thing gets banned, that's just how it is. We gotta accept it.
Yeah.
I think for what it's worth, outside of anime, most of the other changes I thought were pretty good. As I said during one of our episodes,
the Sao decapitation. We recorded our ban list episode. It may or may not. Actually, I'm gonna edit it either today or tomorrow, so it will be up by the time this episode this recording comes out as well. But we're Steve in particular is kind of hoping that Sao doesn't get decapitated as hard,
it was just like
kind of lets it ride a little bit.
Yeah, it felt like the JP adjustment was so severe. Like, I understand that we have this whole paradigm is very problematic, where it generates metric tons of advantage and it kind of mutates the entire of the level 1 game of the entire meta around it, where now you're having to ask yourself, well, is there any way I can get to 14,000 power at level 1 so I can get over this thing? Or is there any card that I can run that's reasonable that will remove this thing for long periods of time? And so I get it, right? You need to do something, but I don't know. If you ban the brainstorm, like you kind of just banned the entire like package all at once,
Pretty
where
much.
it's like it's hard. I think you can run the 2/1 still reasonably in like a 3 climax deck with Mother's Rosario, but it doesn't. It's not gonna be as good.
Yeah, it's not
And
a bad combo without it. It's just like you said. It's just the oppressiveness coming out at level 1 like that is just ridiculous. So
yeah, the other problem is that it's contemporaries at level 2. It's not as strong as those contemporaries.
Yeah.
So
Like
the
slime will, whenever slime comes out, it's gonna eat it for breakfast.
Yeah, like that's the problem is that if you have a dedicated level 2 that's meant to generate advantage, it's just going to be better at it. It's going to do it in just a much more efficient, powerful fashion.
Yeah, because they balanced it probably like
A little bit.
a little bit, because like they were like, okay, well you could early play it, so the power condition is a little bit worse.
Yeah. I would have much rather seen them go at the way that they clear the deck so efficiently. Part of what makes it so strong is the combination of Leafa, Asuna, and the event being able to mill like 25 cards for no stop.
I wonder if it is just decapitated in a similar way if you choose the combo in the Leafa.
Honestly, I could see like if they put,
because the Leafa kind of like helps you pull it all together.
The
right?
Leafa
helps.
is
The Leafa
fixer,
helps,
but it also gets you the stock.
Like,
this is everything.
Yeah,
like,
the Leafa is really critical. The deck won't work without her, or it won't work as well for sure.
I will say, I was playing a game against someone yesterday that they said, "Hey, I'm getting back into the game. You have this Alice deck, right? I've heard that it's really crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, let me show you how it does it." I did the entire thing without using the Leafa once. So I mean, it's very doable. But if something happens, RNG fucks you to the point that you need to you need that one extra stock, or you need to get that one level 0 or something to help get the numbers right, then she basically saves your ass.
Well, that's the thing is that like the consequences of failure in a deck like that are severe already.
Yeah.
Where like you've tilted the entire deck towards it. And so Leafa is what provides the backstop for the 20% or 30% of games where it shouldn't happen. Where it's like, okay, your opponent went second, tri-fielded you, now you're level 1, and you have 1 stock. Should you be able to pull off Alice? No. But can you?
Yes.
If you have Leafa? Oh, yes. Yes, you can. Because if you get the Asuna who gets an event, who gets an Asuna, who gets the event, who gets a Leafa, who gives you a stock, who gets the Asuna, who gets the event, like all of a sudden 30 cards leaves real fast.
Yeah.
And it takes the right setup every time, but the setup varies. But what doesn't vary is pitch a card to add whatever the best card is in the waiting room that I definitely will need to keep going. Oh, and if I need more money, get that too.
Yeah, especially when the top check doesn't matter.
Yeah, and because like most of the deck's 0, and ultimately you just need to get there, and it doesn't matter what it costs to get there. Like if it uses your whole hand, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because
Alice is going to replenish it immediately. So I mean, yeah,
then we'll get it back.
So it's very similar to Kanata in that regard, where it's like it doesn't matter what it costs to get there, as long as you get there. If you don't get there, then just scoop.
Yeah,
like the game will never be normal. So I think most players have figured out, anybody who's playing that deck still has figured out like what they need and when they need it and what the play patterns are, and they get it every time.
Pretty much.
I haven't played against an Alice deck in probably a month where I haven't seen Alice the very first turn they hit level 1, regardless of what I did. Even tri-fielding, even with 1 stock, they still get it. And so it's like, if you went at some of their milling engines so that they wouldn't get it immediately at the start of level 1, 95% of the time, then I think that might be better than just
outright banning it.
We're not going to let you do it ever.
Yeah. Which, like, that's an interesting point.
She wrote Singapore.
Yeah, this is true. That's an interesting point that, like, if you look at the English ban list now, there are no cards that are outright banned. Like the Kurumi's limited to 2, and they have all the pick ones or pick one of 3, pick one of whatever.
True.
There's nothing outright banned. Even the Ayame thing, you can fix by just putting the 3 combo cards on a pick one of 3 list. They don't actually have to ban the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like,
true.
Then you still have to do, like, honestly, I say 3, pick one of 2. You just put the Sora and the Ayame, really and truly. And that stops that thing. Because you can't even do the... Because I also heard people say, oh, you can drop Hachima at level 3 that blows up the entire field, and the Sora pops, and you get more attacks anyway because Ayame pops out. And I'm like, oh, that's fun. Definitely going to do that. So, I mean, you hit, like, those 2 on a pick one of 2 list, you could do that without banning it. But, So... I feel that's an easier fix. SAO is going to be a harder fix in English. In my mind.
I think the other thing that's driving the ban list in JP is the anime set, right?
Yes.
They just have a better card pool than we do.
Yeah, they got Heathcliff.
They have
that Heathcliff is ridiculous. Oh my god. Yes.
They have the way to kill Nino decks playing the 2/2 forever.
Well, that's why Nino doesn't have any juice in Japan at all.
Yeah.
It's like every quintuplet player is playing Ichika.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And it's because
she's best girl. I mean, no, because of, play stop. Anyway.
Scrying away every point of damage after searching the deck, after getting like 2 or 3 3/2s on the board, after refilling your whole hand and your stock. And
that sounded traumatic how you said that.
The choppers are back again.
that sounded like a pain point.
Yeah, no, I was just
perhaps at a local event.
No, I fought it once and I just like got severely behind already, and then they did the combo and I was like, well, that's 12 stock right there, and I don't have a stock swap in this deck, and so it goes.
Like you just see you see the window of opportunity just shut, and you're like, yep,
I can just see my death incoming right now when I read this card and it says, let me scry 2 before you try to stick damage.
Yeah.
Which, well, when you mentioned the other anniversary set, that was another interesting point I wanted to bring up. Was the fact of we don't have that other set. And if we look at what happened with quintuplets, which in my mind, Nino's back on the chopping block again because people were like, oh, they're not going to hit quintuplets as hard because the movie set was coming out.
God, of course we're going to get hit.
So, and it was like, oh, she's
crazy right now.
Oh, she's absolutely ridiculous. But now that the movie sets come out, I feel that she's going to get hit a lot harder. So,
I think that
because we don't have the anniversary set, do you think they might not hit SAOs hard until we do get it?
No, I think it's literally just going to be like, wait for results of probably like the first 2 or 3 regionals, and then here comes the ban hammer.
Yeah, I'll say this.
In some way.
I would prefer they wait till the end of the season just so we can, like, they're going to add sets throughout this.
Exactly. Because we're getting Overlord.
Yeah.
We're getting Hololive 2.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Absolutely. Counting down the days.
Slime 3. So we get like 4 or 5 pretty meta relevant sets throughout the season that all kind of have their own game plans that interact with quintuplets, Sao, and everything else. And so, like, even with just those sets that we just mentioned, it's going to play pretty differently. We don't have the anniversary set, and so we're not going to get Heathcliff or like any of those other specific tools.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that your zero game is just worse.
Yeah.
Like you lose a whole bunch of utility that JP players were using to respond to the meta. Like for example, there's a 0 that you can tap for power, and you can give a character when they reverse, you pitch the top card of clock and send a clock. That sort of mechanic is really, really important in some matchups and really dead in other matchups, which is why Quince just runs like one of it or whatever for theirs.
But some don't even run it. But
but having access to it lets you have an out to those sort of like game plans, especially because you don't have and you'll see it more if Japan decides to ever run Sword Art again. Because they won't have Heathcliff probably.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like that where like it's not that there was a whole bunch of anime anniversary cards, or I'm sorry, manga anniversary cards that were being run.
Okay.
It was just the option was there, and there was also a more reasonable finisher.
Yeah. The finishing options,
which is the
in
biggest
English,
deal. Yeah,
like the finishing options in English are just not the best.
yeah. So maybe they don't go as hard. I'm tired. Just, just, just restrict Nino to 2 and move on. Like
Agreed.
like they waited until the movie set in Japan when they put the third restrict on it. And the combination of a third restrict plus SAO being everywhere kind of murdered the deck in Japan. But
Yeah,
I think the deck is still pretty reasonable with 2 Ninos, because Heathcliff won't exist. But honestly, this deck has been in the meta, top of the meta, for over a year. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
No, Steve, because that it wasn't as present in the last few top 8s because Sal flooded it.
Yeah.
So now they don't don't think so anymore.
they saw that first
Definitely.
And the
Bushiroad.
movie set wasn't out.
Yeah. So I feel like we're gonna see Nino.
Yeah,
for sure.
They saw the first Bushiroad Rumble and it was like, oh, it's all SAO. Clearly, we don't need to hit Quince. No.
Problem solved. We
did it. We don't need to worry about Nino or Ichika or any of these other redheads. just let the blonde Integrity Knight take care of it and move on with life.
Yeah, and so like we're adding 2 of the best decks in the JP meta to the English meta mid-season.
Like you said, Overlord was one of them, and
Overlord and Hololive 3.
Hololive, yeah.
When's Hololive 2 coming?
August 4th.
9-1?
Oh, August 4th.
August 4th?
Yeah. Overlord's 9-1.
I'm keeping track of my my case that's coming in. So yeah.
This man's committed.
Yes, sir.
He's ready for it.
Me and Moroku got that. I have a new camera ready to record the case opening. We are ready when that shit drops. He's like, I've already asked off every day that weekend.
Nice.
So I'm like,
well, there you go.
Yeah, I'll be there watching, and I'll make sure to put in the comments that I will buy whatever the playset cost, $5, whatever you want to charge for the playset.
Yeah. After it gets cracked to the high heavens.
After it gets cracked, complete oblivion, I'll be there to take it off your hands.
I will take one playset of your finest Ayames, good sir.
Or what's the meme with the girl who's walking up?
Yes, those little coins.
Ayame, please.
Ayame, please.
I will send you a singular Ayame.
Yeah.
4 IMAs, please, and that'll do.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they don't try to do ban lists before all this stuff's out. It would feel inappropriate. But yeah, with Singapore, you never know. So
Agreed.
You'll have to, if you're interested in competitive play, you'll have to hedge your bets, because if you're like me and just got the last foil 2-1 that you needed to finish out foiling the rest of the deck, well, yeah, that may not be great. So
slight regret setting in.
Yeah. So
I only regret I didn't do it sooner.
There you go.
There you go.
That is really good. But yeah, so we are waiting to see what exactly happens. What potential hits are going to come with that? Whether they happen immediately, whether they wait. Only time will tell. But with that, I know we're getting up there in time, so I was going to see if there's anything else y'all wanted to discuss real quick or anything.
So real quick here.
Go for it.
I'm gonna keep going on my Mahiru crusade as long as I can push this deck, because it sure does say defensive scry at level 2 with a standby combo that is not bad. It just kind of gets you the guy. We get soul. We can push damage with standby all of a sudden. So even though it's not strictly great, I'm definitely gonna try to optimize that as far as I can get it. I know you did a relive set review pretty recently. I haven't gotten the chance to look at it.
It's all good.
But the long and the short of that, if you haven't seen that, is that relive is a sad set because it was supposed to be released 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But that Mahiru, that's a little sauce. I got a triple Mahiru board out the other day, and I lived triple Itsuki.
Oh no.
It was literally free as hell. He was like, burn 3. I was like, oh yeah, burn 3, scry 2, get rid of 1. Okay, scry 3 cards away. You want to hit this 4? No. Nah.
Kate, are you the type of player that more of a dark horse or are you more of a meta follower?
I like to follow the meta to fuck with it, most definitely, but I do own, like, let's say I have Nino, but I don't have the Nino deck. I have my own version of it. So I like, if I see a deck profile, this is a really roundabout way of kind of saying yes and no to your question. If I see a deck profile, I like to use it as a template and go, okay, what changes do I want to make? I don't like to cookie cutter.
Yeah. Well, what I'll say about that is that's a great way to approach the game, because I think that for the most part, anybody who's putting out deck profiles right now is probably just putting out, like, that's how they're meant to be used.
Yeah.
If I can be honest. Like, if you're watching content for Weiss and you see somebody build a deck and show it off, they're not piloting that deck in any serious way at a serious event. I promise. Just because that's not how they're meant to be used. They're meant to be used as a template. You need to tailor them for the meta. You need to tailor them for your, your use cases.
The regionals you go to, the locals that you're at. Like I have a great example of this. So one shop challenge we had a while back. This was back when, like, Love Live Sunshine was the big meta. And I'll try to make this story really quick. One of my buddies purposely ran Gurren Lagann Anti-Spiral specifically to fuck with me. And these two dudes showed up from out of town who, like, these two dudes showed up from out of town. They're like, oh, this is a small shop challenge. We're just going to sweep this with Love Live Sunshine. They met Gurren Lagann Anti-Spiral that day. My buddy didn't win the shop challenge, but neither did they. They, like, before the final round, they had already left because they had both gotten wrecked by Anti-Spiral type thing.
Bless their hearts.
So it's the thing of, my buddy was like, hey, I'm going to specifically play this because I know our locals type thing.
It's a good meta call.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
He didn't expect to go against Meta Sunshine that day. He was like, I just want to fuck with Cade over here because I know he's going to be trying to, like, drop the Gurren Lagann combined shit, and I did. And I'm like, well, I got to play around this now, so.
Oh, man, yeah.
Well, I know that Ben is one of those type of players where he doesn't prefer to follow the meta. He prefers to follow his heart.
Exactly.
And
I'm being converted slowly enough.
And it's one of those things
we're
where
spiking more.
Yeah.
But, if I don't like a deck, I can't play that shit. It's impossible for me. Like, I won't learn it as quickly. I won't want to play it. Like,
what makes you not like a deck?
What makes me not like a deck? I don't know yet. It's literally vibes.
What makes you not like a deck, Cade?
Yeah.
If it costs me $500 to make, so if
that's fair. But, like,
there's no Weiss decks that cost that much anymore.
No, very much so. You were 100% correct on that. Yeah, I literally did a video of, you can make Meta Alice for, like, less than $50. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's specific mechanics I might not agree with, but I guess it does depend on playstyle. There's no short answer to this, I hate to say. What makes me not like a deck?
They say it. No.
Go for it.
Bring it all out. We can chat about this real quick.
Okay. It depends on how say there's a specific deck. But this is one reason, like I said, I look at a template and say, I what changes can I make? If I see someone put out a deck that has 25 level zeros, I'm going, nah, fam, I'm cutting back on that shit. I'm like, I do not like the play style of, I have built up some number of just characters and I have this setup. My opponent, all they do is drop 3 level zeros and just go to town. I'm like, okay, I don't want to play like that. I don't want to build a deck that makes people do that either. So.
Okay.
But sometimes that just happens.
Yeah. I'll offer this. On the next, whenever we can fit it into the next refresh point, I want to talk about a word that you mentioned there because I hear it a lot.
Okay.
And it's intriguing to me. And that word is play style.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Play style is, I do not believe in.
Yeah. I'm also kind of on that train.
You said the same thing earlier, but you didn't say it.
Yeah.
I thought you did.
What you said was,
okay, so
you said your words were
fair
vibes, right?
Vibes.
But what you meant by vibes was play style.
There's like specific things that I feel like there are specific things I don't like doing while playing Weiss, or like decision points that I hate to make. And those things, when they come up to me when I'm playing a deck, I'll be like, okay, well, I don't want to make these decision points in this way, or like, I don't want to play a deck that like this is the game plan of it, and so I don't want to play it. I don't think there's that many kind of like player play styles in that way. I think there's a deck with its game plan,
Yeah.
right?
So you
that
dislike the game plan.
like yeah, there are game plans that I will dislike playing. Is
Right.
I think the best way to describe it for me. Because like I'll come up with these game plans. Like I'll make them. I'll be like, okay, Bofree.
Who made
Pants?
this terrible game plan?
Exactly. I'll be like, I'm gonna try Pants Stoxel Door. We're gonna see how this plays. And I'll be like, damn, this feels ass. All right, we're gonna toss that shit straight out the window. You know, and it's just because I didn't like the way that things were playing out, because I'm just not really good at visualizing it. I'll be like, yeah, we'll definitely just play the Sally.
Things will just work. Yeah, things will just work.
Things will just work. But I'm pretty bad at visualizing what happens when things don't work. And so
I'll say this.
Yeah.
The one thing that doesn't happen enough in Weiss is a set will come out, especially a set that's been out in JP for a while. So my favorite offender for this is Kaguya 2.
Okay.
Kaguya 2 came out at a time in JP where it was not good into what their meta currently was. So when it came out, Japan did not explore the deck at all. They were basically like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And they just kind of tossed it and then moved on. English players have a strong tendency to do whatever Japan tells them to do.
Yeah, and
so
do not like that.
If a set comes out, they will look to they'll look to content to figure out what Japan's playing. They'll build those decks. They'll play those decks. And if they're good in the English meta by either coincidence or just because of strength, they'll play them. But they absolutely will not explore them. And so set exploration is one of those things that just does not happen in Weiss very much. People very much follow Japan, rely on Japan, which isn't a bad thing. If if you're working a 60-hour work week and you get to play Weiss once a week, please follow Japan. Just do whatever they say. You do not have time to be screwing around.
Yeah.
But if you have some time, a lot of the stuff that has become good, quote unquote, against Alice is stuff that was distinctly not good in any other way. And came as a result of people exploring, either EU players, NA players, or JP players, exploring in a way that they were like, well, what do we do?
I still believe as a dark horse in 8-bar Kobayashi.
That's a perfect example of a deck that's really good in the current meta.
Like, you kill Alice. Yeah. Like, Alice doesn't get away if you play your cards right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's not just that, but coincidentally, it's also very good against any deck that's trying to like build true field presence.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of decks like that.
Uh-huh.
And so it's stuff like that where it's like this deck is highly unexplored, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, hang on, this might be a good thing. Or like Door Choice Kaguya, where it's like, okay, well, we don't think Kaguya is very good. It's like, well, what if we just minimize some of the bad stuff and maximize all the stuff that's really good? And it's like, okay, well, this looks like it might work. Holy crap, I have so much money. I can just buy anything. And it's like, yep. Including this JC that bounces level 2 killers and kills level 2s over and over again. We could definitely do it.
We can definitely
the world's
do that.
cheapest finisher.
Uh-huh.
The way you describe that in terms of, like you said, exploring a set is kind of a way I wanted to describe another point. There was something I was contemplating making a video on, or kind of like doing a discussion on, with at least on a podcast episode or something, talking about like, if you look at other card games like say Yu-Gi-Oh or MTG or something oppressive comes out, and the first thought that people have is, oh, that needs to be banned right now. And if you can't do anything else about it, I understand that. But I like it when people instead go, okay, this is oppressive. What can I do to combat it? And like I said, that's a good way of like putting into words something that I wanted to discuss in that regard. So
that's kind of a common thing in many competitive environments.
Yeah.
Where kind of quote unquote patches are available and a thing to consider. Like in a lot of different ones. Street Fighter 6 just came out, right?
Yeah.
It's not even been out for 2 or 3 weeks, and you have a few of the top content creators being like, change this, change this, change this.
Oh,
I hate this.
yeah.
I hate Drive Rush. It costs too little, too much. Bar, you know. Modern Lily's a bastard. I hate her. Nerf her into the ground. I hate this modern controller scheme. Modern Marisa is just like a bastard. I hate her. Nerf her into the like. There's all this stuff that people start to and in or even League of Legends, where like the balance team will come out with something that's pretty cracked and maybe not designed correctly, and people will be like, nerf it, ban it, get it out of here,
Yeah.
you know, and they'll know that it'll happen because it happens every 2 weeks. But, you know, in that environment, it kind of stifles the ability to dig deep and be like, okay, but like, really, if this stays, what is the answer?
Yeah.
And I think in Weiss, we're probably going to have to start. I mean, you know, I think we just need to keep on digging deep and finding answers.
I don't
'Cause
like
do
that
like
mentality of like
style
just
better.
instant ban type thing.
Yeah, what I'll also say is that MTG in the big three, where you have probably 10 to 20 to 30 times the competitive player base,
Agreed. Vastly.
You're going to get solved ideas a lot faster. With Weiss, Weiss is one of those games that you play with your heart. And a lot of times people will not play the strongest mechanic available if they don't like it.
Yeah.
Or if they like something else better, which is fine. But you don't see that as commonly in competitive Magic. So when you have, and so the combination of those two things, which is like players will not necessarily play something even if it's strong, combined with, like, for example, I'm not going to play Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I don't like it. I don't like that set. I don't want to play it. I don't like 8-bar. And so like I need that's pure there's no logic in that. That's purely wrong thing. But lots of players are like that.
Agreed.
And so that plus a lack of overall play. Like there's probably like a 10th of the games or a 20th or a 50th of the Weiss games being played on a weekly basis as there is Magic games. Yeah. And probably 100th of the data aggregation. Like there's no MTG melee for Weiss. So there's not good data being gathered on what's actually strong. Basically, we're seeing only tournament results in a best of one game, which is not conclusive. So by the time a card is broken in Magic, we can say it for sure. We don't have to guess. Because we have 50,000 games a week telling us that this thing has a way above average win rate. And that data don't lie. And so we're well beyond like the law of large numbers. This is not an aberration. This is not a drill. These cards are broken. But in Weiss, I feel that is much more unlikely. And that the ban list and people's perception of it, while important, I don't want to discount that at all. How people feel about a card is an important function when you don't have like tremendous amounts of players. Even if you do, the Japanese player base for Weiss is humongous.
Yeah.
But you need to be concerned with how players perceive the game. And if they perceive the game to not be, if they perceive that you don't care how the game ends up, like if you just leave Ayame and let it rip, right?
Yeah.
Then you're giving the perception that you don't care if the game becomes coin flippy. And if the game becomes really coin flippy, then you're sending a subtle message to your competitive player base, basically saying we don't care about you or about competitive integrity for our game because we're just going to let the game ride. And I don't think you can do that reasonably, but at the same time, if you pull the trigger on every card that you design that's difficult to handle, then the game becomes really flat really quickly.
Yeah.
It's always
like
balance.
we gotta feel excited,
yeah.
right?
Just trying to find that middle ground is a pain.
Yeah, like when a powerful mechanic is spoiled, people are hyped. Because you're not thinking about you facing it. You're thinking about you playing it.
Agreed.
And so like the, Chainsaw Man, whenever they did some of the spoilers for that, where it's like, look at this like red card that tutors its own climax that blows up your board. We're all like, holy shit, that sounds insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you need that in the game. You need enough juice to make people want to build, want to play.
Even though to be fair to that, like I think that was a good balance.
Yeah.
Makima's not even out of the Chainsaw Man tops that have come out of Japan recently. I don't even think I've seen a Makima played.
Yeah,
which is like how interesting that your sets can be, where you have like some of these like exciting mechanics and the spoilers. Then you get your hands on it, you get your hands on the whole thing. You're like, well, what if we did this?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's one of those things where it's like sets become explored over time, and like stuff that wasn't in there evolves in there. And so there's tons of examples of that where it's like you'll start going in one direction with a set, and then you'll be like, oh wait, yeah, I don't think this is it, and you'll go off in a completely different direction, or the meta will change because something's added and the thing you were doing before isn't relevant anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I think ultimately I prefer your approach, Cade. I would rather fight fire with fire than just pour water on every fire we make.
Yeah, like I'm not opposed to once again, like I'm going to use Yu-Gi-Oh as an example. There's an FTK that there's just like, say if someone creates an FTK deck that there's just nothing you can do to stop it. But obviously, like I said, that still takes the exploration and trying to see if you can.
Sure.
But if it's something that is just absolutely they're like oppressive, I'm not super opposed to be like, okay, this might need to be looked at and touched upon.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like even with like I'll use this example for Weiss's Alice. Like even earlier in the episode is like there's a lot of sets that have, say, reversers or something that can typically get cards off of the field. So if you don't explore those kinds of options and try to find a way to combat against something like Alice or something like Nino, I prefer the people who do the exploration and try to figure that stuff out instead of just hopping on that bandwagon of no, just ban it. I don't even want to look at it type thing, you know? Type thing.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the people who you're banning cards from, those are your customers.
Exactly.
And if they get the feeling that anything that seems too strong gets banned, I mean, they're not going to invest in your game.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just economic sense.
Agreed. And that is something that we just hope Bushi makes those decisions that you obviously as a company they're going to make decisions that make them money, but
sure,
no matter what, like that's they're in it to make money, but obviously you want them to be like,
part of that,
let's listen to the player base.
Lots of ways to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that I do feel that is a very good discussion. Something people could definitely discuss more, especially like at their own locals or even with their own friends, and try to say, like, if you got people together that said, hey, what can we do against this, or try to get people thinking about it. I want to incite that thought process type thing. I'm also just not good at describing stuff, so I try my damnedest, but some days I just can't get the words out. So
that's how it is sometimes.
But with that, speaking of getting words out, and I realize it has gone on for a good bit, but we are going to be wrapping this up in just a little bit here. Once again, thank you very much to the Refresh Point boys. We got Ben and Steve. I thank y'all so much for being on.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. We had a great time.
Thanks for having us on.
Heck yeah, the link for their channel will be in the description. Please go check them out. Please subscribe. And whoever it is that likes to leave me long-ass comments, go engage with them. That they are openly inviting it. Just go for it. So I really do like your content, and I want it to pick up more traction. That's like just my personal opinion, and I'm definitely eager to listen to new episodes in the future. And with that, thank y'all. Go ahead.
We're gonna keep pushing them out until we decide we don't like it anymore, which isn't anytime soon.
Yeah,
heck yeah. I do like that. That's a very good way of looking at it. So with that, thank y'all very much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you want. If not, hey, just thanks for stopping by to listen to the podcast episode and listen to the Refresh Point boys. And with that, we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace.